In its peak, The Boys wasn't just another superhero show, it was one of the greatest pieces of superhero media ever made. And whether people like to admit it or not, a huge part of that success comes down to one character: Homelander. You can argue things have changed now, but let's be honest, if the show kept going after killing Homelander, and let's say they took a season to kill Billy Butcher, it wouldn't even come close to the same level of hype. People tune in for Homelander. Butcher and the rest of the cast are great, sure, but every time Homelander steps on screen, you're instantly locked in, waiting to see what happens next. He is the heart of the show. He's written and acted perfectly, but the sad truth is, as the series goes on, Homelander is slowly devolving as a character. And that's exactly what we're breaking down in this video. We're going to talk about why Homelander was such an incredible villain at first, and why he's now slowly downgraded into a mustache-twirling cartoon version of himself. But let's start from the beginning. In seasons 1 and 2 of The Boys, Homelander wasn't just dangerous, he was smart. That was a huge part of what made him so terrifying. He wasn't only the most powerful supe on the planet, completely untouchable and unstoppable, he also outsmarted the boys over and over again. He was a master manipulator, constantly playing everyone around him. He even manipulated Vought and Madeline Stillwell whenever he wanted, at least until season 2 when Stan Edgar showed up. If Homelander wanted something, he got it, and he always made sure he was the one pulling the strings. Look at Flight 37. He had let that plane crash into the ocean and then immediately twisted the entire situation to his advantage. He went completely off script on national television and manipulated the public into supporting supes in the military. It was dark and bold, and it showed just how dangerously calculated he really was. And then again at the Believe Expo, Homelander was sick of being told what to say, so he went off script, and somehow it worked even better than everyone other than Homelander expected. Every time Homelander went off script, it worked because he was smart and strategic. He knew exactly what he was doing, and that's what made him such a terrifying villain in those early seasons. And even in the season 1 finale, when Butcher thinks he finally has Homelander in checkmate, Homelander flips the entire situation on its head and completely destroys his plan. That was the point. In those first 2 seasons, Homelander was always one step ahead, and on the rare occasions when he wasn't, he figured things out fast and got right back in control. But by season 4, that's just not the case anymore. Homelander isn't the calculated, smart villain he used to be. He's not playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers anymore. Instead of being the brilliant mastermind, he's turned into a villain who keeps tripping over his own cape. And the scene I'm about to show right now proves exactly what I'm talking about.
You'll have to arrest half your company, half the country.
Wait, you think I didn't think of that? Of course I thought of that.
When I first saw that scene, I genuinely got pissed off. In season 4, Homelander has no idea what he's doing anymore. Every time he tries to go off on his own, it blows up in his face. Now all he's doing is getting outsmarted by the boys over and over again. The guy who used to control every room he walked into suddenly can't do anything without looking clueless. And I know a part of this is just to make Sister Sage look even smarter in season 4, but that doesn't justify completely stripping away Homelander's charisma and intelligence. That was the character. That's what made him so terrifying. The way they should have handled Homelander and Sister Sage is actually simple. Keep Homelander smart and make her even smarter. That dynamic would have been way better. But the problem with that is that would require the showrunner Eric Kripke to be a smart human being. And well, that's just not gonna happen. Consider that a little teaser for an upcoming video. They've also turned Homelander into an unstable man-child. Now, I get it, he's always had those traits, and in season 4 he's way more broken down than in the earlier seasons, but they're crossing the line. He's crying in almost every scene, which can work, but they're also not balancing it with anything that keeps him intimidating. Homelander is arguably the most evil and definitely the most powerful man in the entire show. We should feel that, but lately we haven't. The earlier Homelander scenes are the best because he's intimidating. People fear him and no one knows what he's about to do, but nobody fears Homelander anymore. Everyone treats him like a joke. He's practically the Deep with a cape. Before season 3 and 4, the only person who could talk back to Homelander without instantly fearing his life was Stan Edgar. He was the one guy who could look Homelander in the eyes and not flinch. But now, any character can talk trash to him with zero consequences, because hardly anyone is scared of him anymore. The intimidation is completely gone, the tension is completely gone, and no one fears Homelander. The entire dynamic of his character is falling apart. And it doesn't help that he is constantly getting his ass kicked in almost every single fight he's in. Homelander is supposed to be the strongest supe of all time, yet he's constantly getting bested. The Herogasm fight, that one made sense. He got jumped, they surprised him, he had no idea what was going on, and Soldier Boy was there, a guy who used to be the strongest soup before Homelander. And even then, Homelander still overpowered all three of them at the end of the fight. But then, a few episodes later, he's getting destroyed by Queen Maeve. Yes, she's been training to fight him for years, but she just does way too much. Homelander handles her fine at the start, and he's not even taking it super seriously, but by the end, he can't land anything. A bloody nose, fine, but a regular metal straw piercing his ear and making him bleed again? That's ridiculous. And don't even get me started on that stupid double punch he lands at the end of the fight. That was insane in the worst possible way. Homelander went from being the strongest soup ever and no one stood a chance against him to someone who I genuinely believe 4 to 5 regular soups could take down. His aura of invincibility is completely shattered and non-existent. His laser eyes don't even do anything anymore. Back in season 1 and 2, the second his eyes turned red, everyone panicked, even Stormfront. He was vaporizing people left and right without hesitation. It meant something. It was terrifying. But now, he doesn't kill anyone with them. Yes, we know he can control the heat and power of it. He literally warms up a bottle of milk with them. But at the end of Gen V season 1, he lasers Marie and nothing happens. He lasers Queen Maeve and nothing happens. He lasers Victoria Newman in the face and she doesn't even have a mark on it. His laser eyes don't do anything to anyone unless they're just regular humans. And that's the only time Homelander still feels powerful, when he's bullying people who can't fight back. But then you get to season 4 of The Boys, when Homelander visits the lab where he grew up, and suddenly the show remembers who he used to be. That entire episode was incredible. It's one of my favorite episodes in the entire series, and it's because Homelander was finally unpredictable again. People were afraid of him. For the first time in a long time, we got a glimpse of the old Homelander, but then they immediately ruined all of that terrifying aura by having Huey escape Homelander in the vents. Like, seriously? We're supposed to believe Homelander, the guy they market as evil Superman, can't just fly straight through the wall and grab him? If Huey of all people can get away from Homelander, then why should we fear him when he goes after literally anyone else in the show? Now, I know people are gonna say, oh, but Kevin, A-Train saved Huey. If not for A-Train, Homelander would have caught him. But that doesn't fix anything. Homelander should have grabbed Huey before A-Train even showed up. Huey shouldn't be able to last more than a second in a chase like that. Moments like these kill the intimidation the show has spent years building. The show does a lot of telling us instead of showing us, and sadly, that's something that's been happening more and more as the series goes on. They tell us stuff, but they don't show it. Now, luckily for the boys, they still have the foundation of who Homelander is at his core. A very tragic villain with the darkest backstory in the entire series. His trauma is so brutal that you actually understand why he turned out the way he did. You can't fully blame him for becoming a monster because there's an 80% chance any of us would end up somewhat close to Homelander if we went through what he did. Some people would even argue Homelander is the real victim in The Boys. But at the end of the day, Homelander is still one of my favorite characters of all time, and honestly, probably my favorite villain ever, and that's why it sucks seeing him slowly turn into a lesser version of himself in season 4. He used to be terrifying, calculated, unpredictable. Now he's just not the same. But hopefully in season 5 they will fix that. Hopefully they bring back the old Homelander from season 1 and 2, the one who carried the show, the one everyone was obsessed with, and the one we couldn't look away from. Because that Homelander, that was the peak of The Boys. And that is going to be the very end of the video. If you've enjoyed and made it this far, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel, and let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think Homelander is getting a massive downgrade, or am I just overreacting? If you want to see more videos like this, I have a lot on The Boys and other TV shows and movies, so go check them out, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.